What's up, everybody? I am fired up to interview Keith Collins for, I don't even know how many times, Keith. How many times do you think you and I have
I
created
don't know,
content and leadership together on YouTube?
5 to 10, maybe, probably closer to 10
I was
over the
gonna
last,
say,
over
I'm gonna say
a 3-4 year stretch.
north of 10. And Paul, if you could do a search at our channel, and let's get the final count before we're over here.
I'd be interested in that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I remember the first one though, man, I was shaking in my boots.
Yeah, well, you've just always provided such great leadership to this community. I am super grateful for you. I actually interviewed a top producer at your company, James Allen, a couple days ago, and I don't know if he said it while we were recording or while we were prepping, but he had mentioned that you had been really helpful in his journey to become a black belt mortgage coach.
Pretty cool coming from him because that guy's a stud.
He was a stud. He is a stud, and I'm going to be doing a full 1 hour interview with him sometime in the next 30 days.
You need to.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys, kind of a sleeper, right? Like I haven't had a face-to-face interaction with him. I was on a coaching call with one of our other people at our company, one of our top producers, and he just jumped on and he started saying some things. And I'm like, oh, where'd you come from? Like, you're good, man. You're really good.
Yeah,
so,
Brian Koss,
he's a bit of a sleeper.
Brian Koss, who I've known for over 30 years, is a good friend of mine. Put him on my radar and it's like, hey, this guy's killing it with your software. You need to put him on the list. So NAR Settlement. We've got a playlist here in the YouTube channel with over 10 interviews. It's called the Getting Ahead of the NAR Settlement. I've interviewed Shop Minoshian, #1 loan officer in the country. I've interviewed Jason Mitchell twice now. You had called out Dan Keller. You really like
that's a really good one
with Dan. Right now, out of the loan officers, Sean Herrera's got the most views. He's got how Sean is getting ahead of it. So we got a lot of ballers creating prep content to help mortgage coaches get ahead. So first of all, how are you doing in the market? Like, how's your production? What kind of volume are you doing? And just give us a little pulse check in your market.
I'm doing good, man. I mean, I think I like to say this because I think it's relative. I relocated out to Nashville 2 years ago. So I restarted my business after 16 years in the mortgage industry, and really started going after it this last year. So this month's one of our best months. We've got 16 purchase transactions in Tennessee. So that's, I had 0 before I moved here. I got licensed during the move. And so 16 purchase contracts for this month, all in Tennessee, which has me excited, man. It's been fun. So it's like one of those little cool things, right? Like if you were to start your business all over, what would you do? Like, I'm doing it and it's been good.
And are you still doing volume in Sacramento area?
I am, but it's really only previous client volume. So I'm at that, it's almost 3 years, but really I wasn't here for the first year. I was still in California because of the region and everything, so I'm at the point where there's only a few real estate agents that are still using me. Any business I'm really doing in California is all from a database, which is awesome. Like, there's business there, but if it's a new contract from a new agent, it's coming from Nashville.
Well, congrats on transitioning your life, your
Thanks,
business.
Man.
That's not an easy thing to do, and that's incredible production. How is the NAR Settlement Dialogue going with realtors in your market, and what are you doing to get ahead? What are you doing to help agents right now?
Yeah, we referenced that Dan Keller video. I've watched a lot of them, but not all of them. I think that's one of the best. He's just always awesome. He's polished and prepared, and it was one of the first ones, which was cool because he went first. But one of the things that he said on there, and we talked about this earlier, is there's kind of 2 camps for people. Like, this is going to change nothing and this is going to change everything. And then he said both are wrong. And I'm really trying to figure out that space because, yes, it's changing things, changing conversations. But, we got 16, like I said, purchase contracts in this month in April. Not one of them have any, sort of fee being paid by the buyer to the agent. So we're not seeing that change. Now, listing agents are having some dialogue. Clients are asking questions like, do I have to pay a buyer's agent? And we've got to get really good at our language around that. What I see it is just a tremendous amount of fear in the market, which creates opportunity. And so not trying to take advantage of the fear, but again, there's opportunity for us to step in the space. And where it's been great for me so far is 2 places, but I think I talk about this a lot, like, be 5 mile famous. What are you known for in the market? And one of the things that I've really tried to brand myself on is teaching great classes, going to broker owners in the area and say, you know, I can help and I can teach on this, 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 and this, and they're inviting me in and putting me in front of their agents. And so because of this, I have them actually reaching out to me to teach. And so that's where, for me, honestly, the biggest opportunity is just fear has created an opportunity for me to come in and share how we can navigate this. And that's, I guess, how I'm taking advantage of it. The other part is just one-on-one calls with agents. I think that's an opportunity right now, is, you know, asking some really, you know, important questions. Where do you see as the moment you're going to start introducing our services to your future buyers so that we can help strengthen, you know, your value proposition and help you stand out in this market more effectively? Like, there's some interesting things that you can do. Reaching out to them and saying, you know, I've been thinking a lot about how these changes, you know, may impact first-time home buyers. And I wondered how open you would be to sitting down for 30 minutes to strategize and build a unique value proposition that'll help you dominate first-time home buyers through these changes, right? These are these trigger words that are opening up doors for me. So I'm using those to get in front of agents to do everything I've already done.
So I want to unpack some of the things that you said. So you said the word be 5 miles famous.
5 mile famous.
Yeah, I first time I heard that phrase, although it was 3 miles famous, was just a couple of weeks ago. I interviewed Chris Smith, the author of The Conversion Code, and he also co-authored Exactly What to Say for Realtors. And he said 3 and sometimes 15, 3 to 15 miles famous. And, you know, I've always heard be the digital mayor, like Gary.
Sure. Yeah.
Gary's phrase, but I love that.
5 mile famous.
Pick a number,
Yeah,
and for
whatever
you,
it is.
That's what you're executing, and that sounds like that's a conversation you're having with realtors, and you're saying, "Hey, I'm focused on being 5 miles famous." The most
visible agent in the market wins. The most visible loan officer in the market wins. Visibility looks a lot of different ways. It can be, you know, events, database, social media, billboards, but you have to be visible. And that's, I'm just changing it to be 5 mile famous because it sounds cool.
It does sound cool, and it's memorable,
right?
And it's just a very like, there's things you can do on social media in terms of geo-targeting. There's you know, it gives you a map of who are the agents you're going to target and what you're trying to accomplish. So I think it's very action, like, you know, be the digital mayor, like.
But it's like, what do you want to be known for? When there's a group of agents sitting down and one of them's complaining about this escrow, does someone say, call Keith Collins? Because he's really good at bank statement loans, or he's awesome with California relocations. You know, that's what being 5 mile famous is all about. It's opportunity is being, I got 3 emails last week from agents I've never spoken to, because I've been talking about bank statement loans a lot recently, and how we need to focus on that. And the traditional advice we're giving to self-employed borrowers is wrong. It's hurting them. It's costing them money. And I've had these programs come across my desk because I've just been talking about it a lot.
So 5 miles famous.
Yeah.
You know, what are you doing with realtors in terms of just having conversations around getting ahead of NAR, if any? You know, maybe those aren't conversations, but if you're doing specific masterminds, I've been hearing a lot of loan officers that are masterminding. I know when you and I were prepping, you talked about teaching classes. You know, what are you doing to educate and help realtors prepare?
I'm setting up 20-minute one-on-ones via Zoom with all the agents that are actively referring me, and just having a dialogue around it. What are the concerns that you have about it? What are the points that we just need to discuss? Are there any big questions that you have about this? Are you concerned about navigation of this? And then I'm showing them, you know, kind of, it's basically an appraisal gap strategy as a commission gap strategy, TCA. I mean, we're just changing the words around and putting that together. And so I'm showing them, like, hey, worst case scenario, you have a buyer that looks like this. Here's how it could happen if the seller's unwilling to pay. And I'm letting them know that there is a strategy around it where it can be technically built into the loan, and then give them the quick education around Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, and VA transactions. I don't think, and then I'm also telling them, this is the big thing. I think the media is messing this up bad, you know, and I think realtors are honestly really bad at it as well. And Renee talks about this a lot, the narrative gap, right? If you don't fill the narrative, someone else will fill their own narrative, and often that narrative is wrong. I think most real estate agents are talking about this on social media inaccurately and creating a bigger deal of this than it actually is. And so I'm really telling agents, like, do everything that you can, completely resist from the urge to discuss this on social media, because the 30-second reel is not enough information to get to somebody who may not be buying a home for a year. I think they're just doing it wrong on social. So those are the three messages. We have options. If a seller is not covering it, here are the things to be aware of. Stop sharing on social media. And then I'm also like, I mean, we have to have a lot of empathy here, but we also need to speak straight to them. We will see, I believe there's going to be some commission compression, but the good agents will take advantage of it. Like we've been talking about margin compression in the mortgage industry since 2019. There is going to be some commission compression. What is it going to look like, and who's going to be compressed the most is the ones that are prepared for the conversations.
So, and you mentioned earlier, you know, a real focus on how you're helping first-time home buyers. I think, are you a First Home IQ ambassador?
I am not.
Oh, okay. Not yet.
Not yet. I am not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll work on that later.
Okay. Perfect.
So you're doing 20-minute Zoom classes.
20-minute Zoom one-on-ones. Yeah. 20-minute one-on-ones with my existing referral partners. Right.
And and you're focusing on those three things. By the way, are you showing any TCAs, any mortgage coaching experiences within
That's
those?
why I'm doing it on Zoom. I'm trying to get as efficient as possible with this, and rather than having all these coffee meetings and things. And I'm finding a lot of agents now, at least the good ones, are kind of NAR'd out a little bit. They've had enough NAR classes. They're trying to get back to conducting business. So I'm trying to do, make it simple, easy barrier entry, 15-20-minute Zoom meeting. I just need to show you a couple things. I need you to see this.
And what are you showing them?
I'm showing them a TCA. Do you want me to share screen and do that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let me pull this up. So here we go. So this is the TCA. So I'm showing them, and it's just, this is just a standardized one. I'm not really updating interest rates and things. So we know interest rates a little bit different here recently. I'm, calling it high commission. I'm not getting.
By the way, how do you like the look and feel?
I like it. I do like the look and feel a lot better. It prints out really well if you're ever going to do that. I like it. I'm still getting used to the new navigation of it. And, on the main home screen, I don't think it's a negative thing at all, just getting used to it. But I do like it. I think it's a lot cleaner. Not that it wasn't before, but I'm happy with it. It looks good.
Yeah, go to the top real quick. I do want to call out in the upper right-hand corner. I really like how, click on the English, the little button in the upper right-hand corner, English. I think, we've had the Spanish edition for a long time, but it stands out more. So I think, it's definitely going to be, for folks that want to read it in different languages, it's going to be easier to do that. So cool.
Yep. So I'm really just, at the end of the day, this is a commission gap strategy wrapped up in a commission gap strategy. So, if anybody's familiar with appraisal gap, if anybody's familiar with appraisal gap TCA, I think this is kind of the same thing. But basically, and I'm trying to make fun of it, I'm calling it a stingy seller, but I'm just showing them 4 different options here. And what is, a $800,000 purchase. I have in my city, the median sales price is $950,000. So, this is an average purchase price here. So, $800,000 purchase price, 10% down pre-2024 is what I'm calling it. And this is basically the seller is paying a commission. I'm calling it a stingy seller.
And that's buy now. So that's like buy now.
Yeah, exactly. So this is pre-change. I'm trying to make a joke out of it. I'm calling it a stingy seller. So this is what it looks like if the buyer is paying a 3% commission. The seller is unwilling to do it. The purchase price is $800,000, and the seller is unwilling to pay the commission. The buyer still wants to buy the property, and it's out of pocket. Everything stays the same here. Payment stays the same. Their cash to close just jumps up by the 3%. I'm showing them increase the purchase price. So we can increase, the option is going to be increase the purchase price to cover it. And this is what that would look like. We move it up to 824. The loan amount moves up a little bit because they're still putting 10% down. We've got a small adjustment here in payment and a small adjustment in overall cash to close. If the buyer still wants to buy the home, even though the seller's not covering it, it's a simple increase in purchase price. And we have a lot of strategies to help maintain value that we talk about there too. I'm worried about value. Okay, well, here's 3 or 4 simple strategies that we go through because I think that's a separator. Our ability to navigate appraisal challenges, I think, is better than a lot of other banks. And then the other one, which is what if it doesn't appraise? What does that look like? And so this would be a low appraisal strategy. So let's just say, again, the seller's not willing to cover it. We went to option 3, which is raise the purchase price, but it appraised for $800,000. What do? And I'm just playing with the mortgage insurance and down payment, backing off the down payment, increasing the loan amount to cover the commission. Their payment goes up a little bit. and their cash to close, but their cash to close stays the same. So this is the nuclear option. Worst case scenario, seller's not paying it. We tried to increase the appraised value. It didn't work. Buyer still wants to buy the property. Really no out-of-pocket expense change to the buyer, a slight mortgage payment adjustment. And at the end of the day, what I'm really going over is, are we going to allow, and I got this from Dan on that one presentation, are we going to allow this to get in the way of this, right? Are we going to not buy this home and walk away from maybe $500,000 in additional net worth over a 10-year period of time? And I think if we just bring calmness to this situation, it's going to work. Or the buyer's just going to walk on the property and find a different one. But it's a simple solution where yep, go.
Well, I love this. I love the fact when you first told me you were going to talk about teaching classes, it made me think like they were events, but this is like one-on-ones. You're giving
Simple
one-on-one 15 to 20-minute classes, and you're showing them that you're a mortgage advisor, you're a mortgage coach. Any other mortgage coaches that you're showing to the agents as part of this one-on-one?
I'm not, what I'm talking about a lot right now is bank statements. So if we have a little extra time, and it goes to, is there anything else? I'm showing them. I think a lot of agents and loan officers are giving poor advice right now to self-employed borrowers. And I'm going into that. So I have that if you want to pivot away from the NAR conversation.
What about, knowing that you're focusing on first-time home buyers? I know when I don't know if he said it during the interview, but he definitely said it during prep. James Allen, when I asked him, why are you using Mortgage Coach? He pretty much said, because it helps me go from selling loans to, showing net worth and how different options, how as an advisor, you can increase your net worth with real estate and achieve financial freedom. And I do believe like real estate agents need to become real estate advisors,
100%.
Realtors need to be real estate advisors. So are you showing, the rent versus own or any how to increase your net worth strategies?
We do. And with first time home buyers, absolutely. If they have their rent, we're going to show it to them. Sometimes, rent versus buy is awesome and not awesome. And so we're just careful, because sometimes people have lower than market rents. And when you're putting this all together, especially with the median sales price of $920, sometimes you show that rent versus buy and it's like, oh, it's not as great as it looks. But yeah, we're going through that. I think the bigger thing for me right now with Mortgage Coach is separating myself from the competition. And you sent me some images on this, but like the loan estimate was created in 1989. I mean, the mortgage industry just has not evolved. And the one thing that real estate agents need to be focusing on right now is their buyer presentation. Their buyer presentation needs to be, needs to be as good or better than their listing presentation, especially with a first-time home buyer. And how dare you not ask your lender what their presentation's like? And I think most lenders don't have a presentation that's going to be able to navigate the coming challenges that we are going to have, the hurdles that we're going to have when this all changes and you get the conversation, you get the question. So I'm encouraging real estate agents to go back to the lender and ask them to give them their buyer presentation.
Ooh, by the way, that's every time I do these interviews, I'm getting something from, and anybody who watches this, no matter how much you watch it, that's a new question. Everyone is, after you've shown them, hey, this is how I'm helping you be valuable to your buyers. What is your loan officer's current?
What has your current lender been doing or utilizing?
Presentation of value.
How is your current lender, presenting these complicated options to your buyer? If this comes up, how is your current lender going to do it?
Yeah. So
are they putting together a total cost analysis? What?
Everyone watching this, make sure that is a new standard question. I'm going to start asking loan officers if they're doing that. And I'm willing to bet most loan officers are not throwing that back and saying, hey, how's your loan officer, doing this after they did it. So I love that. That is super, super powerful. Also, did you by any chance see the interview I did with James?
I saw it. I watched like the first 10, 15 minutes of it. It's on I got some travel tomorrow. And so it's on the list to check out. I'm 100% going to check that out.
Did you see the move that he's making where he says, when I have the shopper, how he's deactivating the presentation so that like I'm showing it to him. And if I've got a shopper, I deactivate it so they can't look at the report. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Do you do that? Do you ever deactivate the report?
I don't deactivate it, but I definitely get rid of a bunch of the options. But what I also think though is the TCA, the total cost analysis almost prevents shopping, right? Because it's in a way you are going through a process with a buyer that they're not going to have with another lender. And even if you don't have all this knowledge about, financial planning and advice giving, the TCA helps guide you through that. And so it's presented in such a way that you get to guide that with a customer, but then they really can't take this and then compare this to someone with a crappy loan estimate. And so it almost, it elevates you. But then when they ask me like, hey, Keith, could you provide in a different format? I know that they're talking to a different lender. Whereas if I just gave a loan estimate, like they're just sending that loan estimate to the lender over, and I don't know that they did that. But if I'm ever getting shopped, I know that I'm getting shopped because they're asking me for something in a different format. The only person that's asking for that is the lender that they're talking to.
Right.
So that's been an opportunity for me, just letting me know, but no, I haven't turned it off.
Yeah. I haven't seen, we created that feature so that the loan officer could, originally we created it. A lot of loan officers like to do the live experience.
Right.
And they would send it to the client before the conversation, and they wouldn't want them looking at it until they've gone through the live experience. And now we turn it on. But it was interesting that he was, using it as a, hey, I'm controlling the conversation, and, I want them to talk to me, and I can turn it on and off. He doesn't do it often. And it sounds like you'll remove options. And so you'll uncheck options as a way of getting the client to come back to you.
Correct. So I will do that. And then especially when we're in contract, when I've shown them 3 or 4 different options, I wanted to limit them going back, because I would have people like, I've really been thinking about it and going back to the TCA, and they want me to, relock or rechange or move it to something different. It was just creating more effort and work. But no, I think it's great. I'm currently trying to navigate that. I actually had a call with Denise, the nerd, about our buyer presentation, and just really trying to repackage this whole thing up. Because that is the thing that
do you have a new buyer presentation? Do you have
so we're working on it. My big Q2 Rock is updating it. I just got set up on Lender Launchpad. I've had a couple calls with.
There we go.
Yeah. So I'm finally up on Lender Launchpad. We're integrating the TCA into Lender Launchpad. I think it just provides a more curated customer experience that really stands apart. So, my struggle has been, I'm trying to limit the data with the customer so that I get on the call with the Zoom call, but then they have limited information, and sometimes they're getting in contract. And so we're basically giving it, my strategies, I'm giving it all out to them in a very curated way, that they're not receiving from any other lender. Like they're going to get, a screenshot of it's trashy what lenders are doing when they quote, and then they get everything that we're putting together. It's just so much different.
I think Lender Launchpad is going to be, well, first of all, it's already grown quite a bit, but
it's rad.
It's going to be an incredible presentation. While Mortgage Coach is a piece of the overall buyer conversation for realtors, like every real estate agent should have Lender Launchpad. And of course, I'm an advocate for mortgage professionals as well. But I just think with this NAR settlement, every buyer's agent needs to upgrade their buyer presentation, and Lender Launchpad is the best platform out there to do it.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
It's 100%. It curates the whole thing, puts it together. You send over an awesome little link. It's co-branded with the agent. It's one of the perfect marketing, targeting real estate agent tools I think that's out there, especially with something like this. You can be calling up real estate agents that that your second or third option, as you're trying to squeeze yourself in, and just say, I put something together that's fully co-branded. I think it solves a lot of the problems that we may have with NAR. I think most lenders are not even looking at it this way. I'm sending you a link, take a look at it. And then just clicking on the link and looking through, it's like, this is completely different.
So, I want to go into wrap up mode. I want to respect your time, Keith.
Yep.
But are there any other essential pieces of technology to get ahead of NAR for both a realtor and a loan officer to have a unified experience? I think Mortgage Coach is essential. I think Lender Launchpad is essential. Anything else that you're talking to realtors as it pertains to how to get ahead of this with Keith Collins? Anything else come to mind?
I think it's understanding the market, right? So, you have to have an MBS Live or an MBS Highway type. So we're talking about technologies. I think Lender Launchpad is awesome. Having a Loom type, screen recording system that works really good. Mortgage Coach is fantastic. And then some sort of I don't know what we want to call it, like a sales boomerang type thing that is keeping you in front of your previous customers and letting you know when potential changes are happening. That's a huge value proposition that I talk to my agents about. Is I may not have the referral for you, but surely our customers are not going to leave us because of the follow-up. When we talk to most agents, they have their follow-up with their previous customers is terrible. And so, and that's one of the things that we lean in on with our technology. CRM database, I guess maybe that's it. Like, it surprises me how many people don't have a CRM. That's freaking nuts. So having a CRM that you actually use, I don't know how you survive and do business at scale without a very detailed CRM.
Yeah, that one, my push to everyone listening is, use your CRM. Here is the new hottest technology, and we're going to start marketing this next week, Keith, but I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of the Trust Engine app. Have you seen this?
I haven't. I have not seen this.
So first of all, we're identifying all the signals in a database. Who's most likely to move up, who's most likely to move down. When Chris Smith saw this, he called it the RTC app, reasons to call. And usually we're finding about 1% of your database is in the money. There's a reason to call. So, I could sort it by date. I could sort it by priority. I'm going to have it at priority. And when I click into it, you notice I can click here to email. I can click here to text. I can click here to call. It's giving me a little bit of strategy on why it's an opportunity. It's giving me some next steps. I'll click on this script in a minute. It integrates with MortgageCoach, so it's got a little link there. It's got all the data. If, like, part of a borrower intelligence platform is it has engaged with the borrower with an email. So the minute this opportunity shows up, it emails the borrower, it puts it in your app. We're collecting both credit data, past opportunities, all the information you'd want to know on the property, and why this opportunity was created, and explicitly, like, why was this opportunity put in the system? And then, of course, a lot of loan officers don't know exactly what to say. So what to say if you call, what to say if you text, what to say if you email. And
this is through Sales Boomerang, though?
This is through Trust Engine. It's a Trust
Engine?
Engine product.
Is this an enterprise product, or is this available?
It's an enterprise product,
Cool.
but who knows?
Awesome.
We may have it, but what are your thoughts when you see that? Would that be cool to tell a realtor and, like, literally, like, I got you, and literally pull out your Trust Engine app and look at how everybody you refer to me and how I'm managing it. Look at how I am able to be at the right time at the right place for anyone in your database and my database.
I think it's massive. I mean, that's the number. I tell them there's 3 things that we do, and one of those is I'm going to help you find an additional $45,000 of commission income over the next 12 months with your previous clients.
Write down that script, everybody. So that's part of your scripting. I'm going to show you how to what?
So my 3 things are: I'm an insurance policy against your commission. I've closed over 5,000 home loans. I've never told a borrower that you're approved and not executed. I will drive 2 hours to pick up docs if I have to do that. I'm an insurance policy against your commission. Number 2, I don't believe that anybody else in our local market can help you be more visible. Visibility wins. The most visible agent in the market wins, and I can help you do that. I mean, we have a freaking production studio that you can come in and I can help you out. And then number 3 is I'll help you find $45,000 in additional commission income in the next 12 months through our follow-up resources for your database. So those are my 3 value propositions, if you will, for a real estate agent. Those are the things that I'm going to be able to help you out with to do.
Well, Keith, I don't know if it gets any better, bro. I feel like we just did a virtual site visit in Nashville, Tennessee with Keith Collins. Thank you for being so transparent, so helpful. Any closing thoughts you have? Because we're, mostly it's loan officers watching this, but we've actually really, like, we had over 1,000 realtors join the YouTube channel last month because we started this NAR Settlement channel, and we had over, I think, 35,000 views of the Jason Mitchell interview, #1 realtor in America. And so we're having a lot of realtors watch this as well. So what are any closing thoughts for both mortgage and real estate professionals?
Yeah, your database needs you. I think everybody's looking for the low-hanging fruit. They're looking for the shiny penny to chase. What's the easy way that I can go make another dollar, and it's your database. It's not social. I mean, I love social media. I get business with social media. It's amazing. I'm not a person that's standing here saying don't do it, but your database needs you. I mean, it's, you know, before I was on here, I was on a call with with one of my clients in my database, and, you know, they've got $28,000 of debt. That's $900 a month. They still have mortgage insurance. We can refinance them, consolidate all of it, get money out to put solar in the home, and we're going to save them like $1,800 a month. And, you know,
and how are you presenting that?
I'm going to present it with a TCA. So this was the call. Like, she, you know, I was one of my mortgage, you know, my annual mortgage reviews, reached out to her. She, you know, had a couple of questions. We scheduled the time. I jumped on. I've got all the details for the discovery call. She's completing the application. We'll put it all together in a TCA, and I'll show them a reinvestment. Like, that's the big thing with it, is showing, okay, you're going to save $1,800 a month. Yes, we're adding to your loan amount, but what if you take that $1,800 and then reapply it towards principal? How much additional net worth will you create? Forget about the mortgage interest rate and focus on the strategy on how we're going to increase your net worth through this change. And so, and those are just simple conversations. I mean, inflation is not coming down. Stuff is so expensive. Your database needs you. And I think a lot of loan officers and real estate agents are thinking they're not going to do anything. They can't do anything. They need us right now. And there's gold in it. So, I mean, yeah, just in the last 2 days, I've created 4 applications just from database calls and annual mortgage reviews, just talking to a customer.
Yeah. I literally, the day after I saw the NAR settlement news, I felt like your database just, if it was a stock, it just went up in value. You know, it tripled in value. And if you were a mortgage coach who's already delivering advice, your stock just went up 10x.
Yeah.
If you were a stock in stock market. So dude, I super grateful for who you are as a friend, and for how much you lean into this community, how much you turn loan officers into mortgage coaches. You know, by the way, I got the stats from Paul. I'll give you one more time to guess. And let's just say it's more than 10 videos that we've done together. Take a guess at how many videos we've done together.
Shoot, I don't know. Is it closer to 15, 14?
22.
No, we've done 22 videos.
This is 23, and they have been viewed over almost 19,000 times. 18,800 times. So you are more than 5 miles famous, bro.
Ha!
So we've
That's
created
cool,
a lot of,
dude. That's really cool.
We've created a lot of impact together, and I'm grateful for you and that impact we've made. So
thanks, man. Brother. Appreciate that. Thank you, bud.
All right. So anyone listening to this, make sure you are subscribing to the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. If you are an individual loan officer and your company does not have Mortgage Coach, go to our website. You can sign up. If you are C-suite executive and you want to get a demo of either the Trust Engine app, find out more about that, or make sure all your loan officers have access to Mortgage Coach, hit the demo button in the upper right-hand corner. This is a wrap. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Keith.